Alright, sorry about that, y'all. Apparently, I kind of got a little bit excited and went over, but I mean, hey, it's okay. It's YouTube. There's no time limit. Well, actually, there is a time limit, but I mean, if you go over, hey, it just happens. It's not like I'm, doing this on a professional level or whatever, right? So, yeah. So that was the first half of my predictions for Strikeforce Chicago. Now we're going to finish it off with the second half. Getting down to the good ones here. And this is a very interesting fight, and I think this could possibly be a title eliminator or maybe a contender fight. I don't know. But this fight does have a lot of stakes and a lot of ramifications in it, to say the least. But it's going to be Ruthless Robbie Lawler, a gentleman that y'all might be very familiar with. Matter of fact, a gentleman that I know y'all are familiar with, going up against Tim Kennedy. Now, here's the storyline with this. Both of these guys have fought, doggone it, what's his name? Jacare. Yeah, my man Jacare. Both of these guys had tangled with Jacare, and both guys want to tangle with him again. Point blank. I do think now Tim Kennedy probably put up the best effort with Jacare as opposed to Robbie Lawler. And the reason why I say that is because Tim Kennedy is a lot more well-rounded than Robbie Lawler is. I mean, that's just the truth. I'm not saying that Robbie Lawler still can't knock out Tim Kennedy, because he can. And if he does, he'll be the first guy in Strikeforce history, I believe, to stop Tim Kennedy. So, I mean, that's a very good possibility. All I'm saying is that I believe that Tim Kennedy, does have an advantage in this fight, being that, he can win the fight anywhere. I mean, he's a good striker, underrated striker, I believe. And then second, he's a he's a good grappler too. So like I said, Tim Kennedy, he has the advantage in this fight. But then again, Robbie Lawler has just as good a chance too, because Robbie Lawler, to his credit, has very good takedown defense. And I know, if I know Tim Kennedy how I know him, and if Tim Kennedy is smart, he'll take this fight to the mat and basically try to submit Robbie Lawler, which is not that hard to do if you are smart about it. We saw in the Jacare fight, Robbie Lawler, was doing well. He was doing well, I'll admit it. He rocked Jacare a couple of times, but Jacare, being the strong, savvy veteran that he is, he was able to get the fight to the mat, get Robbie Lawler's back, and choke him out. And that's the same thing that Tim Kennedy wants to do, or at least I think he'll do. I don't know. You never know with Tim Kennedy. I mean, that ego could set in, and that eagerness to, make a statement. He could make the mistake of standing with Robbie Lawler, and basically, like in the words of Chael Sonnen, give the referee a reason to shine a flashlight in his face. So I mean, you never know. But I mean, hopefully for Tim Kennedy's sake, he could be smart enough to get this fight to the mat, and basically try to get Robbie Lawler's back, or either inside control or in the mount. I mean, wherever. But he needs to get this fight to the ground. Point blank, period. That is the main objective for Tim Kennedy in this fight. Get the fight to the mat, out grapple Robbie Lawler, submit him, go home with the win, get the next crack at the championship, and redeem yourself against Jacare. Bottom line. For Robbie Lawler, real simple. He wants to keep the fight standing, stuff Tim Kennedy's takedowns. Now, It is fair to say that Tim Kennedy will be the bigger, stronger man in this fight. So hopefully, Robbie Lawler has recruited some strong, big training partners, to kind of emulate Tim Kennedy's strength and his style of takedowns. So he could utilize that good takedown defense and keep the fight standing. If the fight stays standing, I give the advantage to Robbie Lawler, bar none. Lopsided advantage. Better hands all around. I mean, loves to slip and rip. Loves to use that vaunted right hook of his, as demonstrated in the Matt Lindland fight when he absolutely flattened him, which I saw coming from a mile away. He also has a good uppercut, good combinations. So, if the fight stays standing up, man, it's going to be a short night, extremely short night for Mr. Kennedy. So, if I was him, I would, probably test the striking waters for maybe about 5 seconds, and after that, boom, take him down, try and submit him, or if not submit him, at least try to wear him out. He's got that big, strong body. If he gets in the mount, he can wear Robbie Lawler out, because Robbie Lawler has been suspect with his conditioning, over the past couple of years in this fight. So it'll be interesting to see, him facing another big, strong man, how his cardiovascular conditioning is, and hopefully he's worked on that for his sake. But let's see. It's kind of hard to pick against Tim. I mean, I picked against Tim Kennedy last time, and I was wrong. And I just get the feeling if I pick against him again, I'm going to be wrong again. And I don't like to be wrong, at least when I don't have to be. If I end up, just being wrong, if it happens in the moment, then I'm fine. But if I have a chance to be right, I'm going to be right. So you know what? I'm going to use my brain again on this one. And I'm going to go with Tim Kennedy. And I think he's going to submit Robbie Lawler. I just have that feeling. Rob, I love you, man. You're one of my favorite welterweights. You're matter of fact, you're one of my favorites in the Strikeforce, period, man. I would love to see you get your redemption on Jacare, but in this world of mixed martial arts, you can't be one-dimensional. You got to be well-rounded. Tim Kennedy's more well-rounded. He's, like I said, he's going to be the bigger, stronger man in the fight, and I could just see somewhere, maybe like in the second to the third round, him taking Robbie Lawler down and either passing his guard and getting into side control and slapping on a Kimura, or either we could see the same thing we saw against Melvin Manhoff. Take him down, get his back, and submit him with the rear naked. And I think that's the submission I'm going to pick. Rear naked choke. We'll go third round. Third round rear naked choke, Tim Kennedy. But like I said, Tim Kennedy, matter of fact, this goes out to Tim Kennedy and Tyrone Woodley. Y'all are very good grapplers. Do not let your competitive ego get the best of you and try to stand up with these strikers, lethal strikers like Robbie Lawler and Paul Daly. Because if you do, you're going to be seeing Tweety birds. Your mind is going to be singing lullabies to you. You're going to see nothing but a big blur in your mind. You're going to have the doctors coming up asking you, how many fingers am I holding up? And I know you don't feel like answering that question. So to prevent all that, I'm picking y'all, so y'all better stick to the game plan and take these guys down and either submit them or, wear them out and win a decision. I'm serious. Because I'm telling you, Robbie Lawler and Paul Daly, both of these guys are violent strikers, man. And if they land, all it takes is one. All it takes is one. And if they land that one, it's done. For real. So, y'all better be prepared. Alright. Next fight. The co-main event of the evening. This is going to be awesome. Marlos Kunin, who has, over the course of time become one of my favorite women's mixed martial artists, along with Gina Carano and Chris Cyborg and Liz Carmouche. Taking on another one of my favorites. I like Miesha Tate too. Miesha Tate, she's cool. And she fine too. I must admit that. She's fine. And shout out to my girl Amanda Nunes too. Brazil stand up. Y'all already know. You know what I'm saying? Amanda Nunes, that's my girl too. That's my dudette. For real. But anyway, co-main event, women's 135 championship. I think this is welterweight, right? Welterweight. Marlos Kunin, we already know about her. Good striking, phenomenal grappling. I believe she's a BJJ black belt, if I'm not mistaken. Liz Carmouche. Miesha Tate. See, I got Liz Carmouche on my mind. See, Liz, you don't get me in trouble, Liz. You don't get me in trouble, Liz. No, I'm just playing. Miesha Tate, very good grappler in her own right. So I think, we might be on the brink of a grappling fight here. I think this might be a test of, whose grappling ability is the best. So we're gonna see. But Miesha Tate, I think her game plan is gonna be more than likely to take Marlos Kunin down, as opposed to Marlos Kunin looking to take her down. Miesha Tate needs, from the beginning of the bell, she needs to come forward, back Marlos Kunin up against the cage, either go for the high single or the double leg, or either clinch up with her with a body lock against the cage, and just beat her up and eventually drop levels, get that takedown, ground and pound, submission, whatever she needs to do. End of story. Marlos Kunin, I think what her game plan is going to be, I think, since she talks about, knocking people out all the time, I think she's going to want to try and look for that first knockout. Even though maybe 101% of the time she ends up submitting somebody. But in this case, we might get a chance to see her display her kickboxing skills and, get that first knockout, But we all know if Kunin gets in trouble, she's got that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in her back pocket, and she can always use that, But I think Kunin's going to try to keep this fight on the feet. I think she's going to try to stuff Miesha Tate's takedowns. Kunin is taller, a lot bigger, and I think she's a lot more crafty than Miesha Tate. Miesha Tate, she's still kind of not necessarily a rookie, but she's still trying to find her way through the sport of mixed martial arts. But then again, at the same time, she has I still believe she can win this fight, because MMA is so unique and so unpredictable. You just can't never really predict a fight. You can just state your opinion. So, what I think is going to happen is, I think Kunin's going to try to set up, the strikes or the punches with the kicks, and I think that's what we're going to see from her. I think she's going to just try to chop Miesha Tate down and just take away those wheels so that she can avoid the takedown with leg kicks. And I could just see her following that up, with the jab. She's going to use the jab to keep distance, and she's going to fire off those combinations. And I think what's going to end up happening is somewhere in the fight, she would probably catch her with a big knee, wobble her a little bit, clip her again, maybe with a right cross, ground and pound, And I think the fight's going to end in the third round.